I'm Peter, and I'm president of the International Diabetes Federation. I would like to give an update about the last 2 weeks in the activities and actions around the International Diabetes Federation, which was again a busy time. The main event during the last 2 weeks was visiting the Congress of the American Diabetes Association. And it was a very exciting and very intensive period of meeting a lot of colleagues, meeting a lot of friends, discussing a lot of ideas and new aspects around diabetes globally. But I was continuously having meetings with corporate partners, with strategic partners, and discussing about where the International Diabetes Federation wants to go. One very important cooperation partner is the American Diabetes Association, and with their president, I have met and agreed on starting a process of harmonizing the standards of how to diagnose diabetes. You may ask, why is this important? But today we have 4 different ways of diagnosing diabetes, and there is an intensive discussion about the 1 hour glucose to be used for diabetes diagnosis. In some regions, this could ease the diagnosis of diabetes a lot. So, and the 1 hour glucose would be the fifth criteria to diagnose diabetes. And I must say, this doesn't make sense to have for one disease so many different criteria. And we also remember that WHO has released a number of more than 800 million people living with diabetes on Earth, and IDF talks about 586 million. And if we are honest, it's not an ideal way to communicate if two big organizations have two different numbers, but both are right because both use different diagnostic criteria. And here you see, we have to tackle this and address this. On the other important aspect during the last week has been the IDF100 project. A lot of discussions are going on, a lot of interviews, a lot of putting the assets of IDF together. And the International Diabetes Federation has a lot of assets. An organization which is since 75 years on Earth, we could say, and is active as an advocate for people living with diabetes, has a lot of experience, has a lot of big momentum for colleagues and people living with diabetes worldwide. But we have to sort this in a more strategic way. International Diabetes Federation is doing a lot. And there are a lot of big and a lot of small projects. And if we want to be a strategic player, we could say a one-stop shop for everything related for diabetes, for healthcare professionals and people living with diabetes, we have to build a strong strategic plan. And we are in the middle of this process. And I must say, it's very promising to see how many enthusiastic and passionate colleagues are there all over the world who say, we want to do something. We want to do whatever is necessary to improve the quality of diabetes care. So I'm very optimistic that we will not have a newborn IDF, but we will reunivate, or we will make IDF more agile and younger as being the big advocate for people living with diabetes. And you just hear, I talk about colleagues and healthcare professionals and people living with diabetes. And some could say it's a kind of dissonance that IDF represents healthcare professionals and people living with diabetes. But I would say this is the big asset IDF has, because no other diabetes organization, no other global organization represents both players. And together with people living with diabetes, also people with lived experience with diabetes, other stakeholders, and on the healthcare professional side, not only physicians, but also educators, and also lay people being part of the care process. And having this big group of players, let me say it like this, where IDF feels responsible for or feels to be an advocate for. This is an asset, and we have to strengthen this asset. And I'm dreaming from that we were able together to build an international diabetes federation where every one of us says, I'm proud to be member of IDF, and where everyone says it's my IDF. And let's work on this together. And I'm very, very optimistic with meeting so many people who are passionate and committed to improve quality of diabetes care that we together will shape the future of diabetes, shape the future and improving the future for people living with diabetes, and will have a global momentum or global impact for the quality of care. I'm very thankful to your passion, to your commitment, to your energy. I'm very thankful to your actions.